I was very lucky to have started the business being so young. I'll say this because by the age I was 21, I had a mortgage, I had car loans, I had a business loan with workers, completely different industry. So I was really lucky that all that collapsed and I lost everything, because that made me realize that for me, all those things, you know, like success that society told me, was not really important. Not really important, it just made me really, really stressed out. So losing everything at that case made me open my mind, because I'm still naive about many things, but then I was much more naive. Like, many people are really bright and they know from the start, this is what I want to do, this is what I like, I don't take this bullshit. Maybe I wasn't so bright, but I actually needed to create my business, do that, get all the loans, get all the crisis story that everyone has, and lose it all to get a fresh start. And that fresh start was the best thing that happened to me, because I realized that I really wanted to do something I liked, not thinking about how important it is in society, like basically all the crap sometimes we get, that you have to be successful, own a car, own a house, all of those things. So that made me realize I want to do something I like and that I have passion, and that I'm not doing it because I'm thinking of money, you know? So that's what got me into tattooing. The only thing I realized I liked was always like drawing, kind of like charcoals. With my father, he does oil paintings, and he sell many. He wasn't able to live off it, but I still really enjoy all the time that I was with him, you know, like I was drawing, he was painting. So I thought of, that's the only thing I have ever done without, just for fun. So could I make it a living? So the second I realized I wanted to enjoy what I did for a living, the second things went right. Then I found out tattooing. So for me it was magical, you know, find something that the better you get at it because you like it, the more it rewards you in the professional way and in the personal way. So for me it was mind-blowing. Other people are brighter and they don't need to lose everything before to realize, but it wasn't my case. Yeah, people often ask me, like, how did you learn so many things so fast? I still think I have a lot to learn. That was the first thing I would say. I would say is the need I found since I started to get better. Initially it was very difficult for me to make a living out of it, and I really needed to. So that need got me in a good start, in a real motivation kind of start. Then from there on, it was just the appreciation and the ambition of wanting to do what other artists do. When I started, it was like the time when Avista were creating realistic trash, just something new. Dot work was starting to appear in the map, like a whole load of new things in the industry that now are really common. Now it's to do creative things is really common. I just had this need to know and to learn. So that kept me moving from studio to studio, not staying for more than 6 months in the same studio and in the same city. The most important key is learn from everyone. Like, I still find when I'm doing guest spots that I can learn even from the apprentice something. Learn from everyone. Go to any artist, ask questions, and most artists are really happy to give answers, because they know that if they can give answers, you can share knowledge. Don't be shy, don't think you know too much, do not ask questions. That's the best thing, you know. I see many artists who will be working with you and they're not interested in how you're working, and you're working completely different. Traveling, working in different environments and meeting different artists, even if I'm good in a studio and I have plenty of work, I still do regular guest spots. I realized that for me it's so important to keep meeting other artists. All the learning for me was about asking them, seeing how they work, and just getting influenced by them. Different personalities, different ways of thinking, and all of them are good. The word I like to call it is abstract reality. I love the feeling of the rigidness of the rules. There's many rules when I'm doing something realistic. Like the eye has to be exactly the same proportions, the nose has to be really exactly the same kind of lighting. But I really love the feeling of when I've done that, and then the big contrast of the freedom of the abstract. The abstract is kind of like no rules. I can start tattooing and I have a basic idea of where I want to go, but then from there on it's free. So for me, it has always been like real mind-blowing, the jump from one to the other and putting those two things together, abstract reality. I don't know the best name for it, definitely. Avant-garde, now they were saying, that's a cool name. Why? Because you can get many different ideas into the same image. If you have something that's half a face mixed with the background and mixed with something else, that just gives so much meaning. That's what clients are looking for. Especially what I like about all the splashes and all the stains in tattooing, they just feel like energy. Like when I see a stain, you can actually see the movement. You can see the stain falling and creating a splash and creating an effect, but all that is movement. It's not still, it's like an explosion capped in that moment. So that's for me what's so beautiful about an ink stain. It's like stopping time for that explosion. It's just the moment when the ink hits the paper, it just gets stopped there. Like the movement stops and you can actually see how hard it hit it, how fast it did. It's just like energy, like watercolors, like one color mixing with other color. That's basically there. It's so much to play with. That would be also the word, you know. It feels so free. When you put it beside something that's so rigid as realism, it's just like it's like the opposites put together, and that's what I really like about abstract reality, surrealism, and all these things. I wouldn't know if for any tattoo artist it's important to explore other mediums, but for me it's definitely such a big influence. It has really changed my technique. When I started tattooing, I had all sorts of rules. The order of colors, I had to follow a structured order of colors. First there had to be the lines, then the blacks, then the dark colors. All that, for me, with painting and drawing, it really changed. So for me, it's really important because the more I paint, the more I tattoo like I paint or I draw. I actually, in the exact same ways, when I'm doing a tattoo that resembles watercolor, I'm actually not following the tattooing rules. I'm just following how you would paint a watercolor, which is, for example, the opposite. Like when you're tattooing, you normally learn that you first do the dark and then the clear, so you don't mess up the clear colors. But with a watercolor, you first put the really clear colors and then the dark, so they blend in. So that's how I will tattoo it, how you paint it in a watercolor. The more I paint, the more I tattoo like I paint, and the more I tattoo, the more I paint like I tattoo. It's really, really combined. And I can really notice when I spend a period practicing how to do portraits on charcoal or whatever other medium, just practicing. I go to tattooing and I see so much more colors and shadings I didn't see before that intense period of practicing, for example, doing faces. And I can really notice the change, like it opens your mind. So in my case, they go together, and I really wish I had more time for painting, definitely. I really enjoy color work. It's what I go for most of the time. Clients are still very reluctant to color realism in particular. I think it's because they haven't seen much color realism being done. It's not very usual. People are just go for what they're accustomed to. And also because they are afraid. I really understand the difference between something being really colorful, which for me, in other words, which for me technically means having a lot of different color ranges together. For example, like greens, reds, blues, yellows, purple, like a whole different. But I also understand how to make something that's color and it's not colorful. I'll explain that a bit better. For me, when something is color, it's not colorful, it means more like in real life. Sometimes things are not full of color, but they're not black and gray. The word would be muted colors. They're toned down, they're not vibrant. For me, it's a much bigger range of possibilities with color than with black and gray, because it's black and gray or many colors. So I feel so much more free to do more things. Also, when I use color and I look at a color portrait, for me it feels so much more realistic than a black and gray portrait. Why? Because reality is color, like we don't see in black and gray. So for me it makes more sense that color looks more realistic. In many cases, black and gray is the best option. So it's like I'm not too rigid about it. Many times I'm the one who says, okay, I love color, but that should be black and gray. Because many times I feel that it's better to do something in black and gray, even though I love color. So sometimes I find somewhere intermediate, which is just doing black and gray with some kind of color tonality. In my case, I love turquoises, so that I really like.